Hello, welcome back to Math Time with Professor Prime, and I am your host, Professor Prime. So, I wanted to conclude my series on math anxiety by issuing this last video about it. But I'm always willing to discuss that in the future. But I feel like this is kind of a good summation of things, like some potential way to deal with said math anxiety, some options to consider. So before, we talked about different things. We talked about what is math anxiety. We talked about where that could come from. We talked about math myths, math mind games. And so here we are, now talking about some potential options. So I think one of the biggest things is understanding how you interact with math. And once you know that, like figuring out, well, do you have math anxiety? And if so, using the resources either at your disposal or that you can find about dealing with that. And that's one thing, just keeping an active eye on how you are interacting with math. I think that's one thing. Another thing is to go back to the basics. I think that's key because, like I said in another video, a lot of negativity that we associate with math comes from a younger age and a traumatic experience that we've had with math. So I think going back to the basics is not a bad thing. Like we all need the basics to be able to build upon things. When you think about language, because math is a language, here's how we do things when we're younger. If we're looking at how we communicate, how we write things out, like we learn the alphabet, wherever you're from, the alphabet of your native tongue. So we learn that alphabet. We then form words. We then kick that up another notch and learn how to write sentences. And then we can write paragraphs as a result. And before you know it, we can write essays about various topics, about various ideas. We can have argument sort of style essays, not uncommon in math. We can also write analysis style essays, also not uncommon. But none of that happens without the basics. And it's not enough in math to know just the rules or some formulas. Memorization is helpful, yes, but it's like what those rules represent, where they came from. There's a level of nuance that you'll want with math, and that's what I feel is like very useful. Going back to the basics and building yourself back up for that. Speaking of building yourself up, keeping a positive attitude is another thing to consider. I know that's easier said than done, but I think it's great to consider that since you are going to like want to go back to the basics and build up that in order to build up your math ability, you want to be able to build yourself up and not break yourself down. And I think that's key. And surrounding yourself by people who understand where you're coming from and are able to help you with that. And knowing that you're not the only one who has struggled with math. There's so many math sites, so many math books, so many people who are looking at these things too. And all of those things exist because people struggle with math. This channel that you're watching right now, I made it because I know that a lot of people have struggled with math. I've been teaching for year after year after year, and I work with people across the board, K through 12, college, international, national, local, just everyone and anyone you can think of. I've helped a lot of different people, and a lot of people struggle with math. I ran a math and science tutoring center. Math was always the subject that dominated all the different math classes we had because people need that. They need it for those other classes, and just being into math in general is rough. And when I did that, we were very successful because people needed the help. If people didn't need help, we wouldn't be there. If people didn't need help, I wouldn't be teaching. There wouldn't be a job for me. If people didn't need help, you wouldn't have the reputation that we have about math. You are not alone in your struggle. And that's one of the big things that I hope people take away from this. That you can do more, that you can do math. And keeping that in mind, I think that's important. And resources, resources, resources. They are out there. Please use them. I use them all the time. I spread them all the time. And as I build this channel and I go forward in time, I want to add more resources and spread more resources. So that being said, I hope you've gained something from watching this series. And if you haven't seen the other videos, that you've gained something from watching this video. I hope that you walked away feeling that maybe you want to give things another shot with math. If not, to just do something that you felt like you couldn't do before. So that being said, there will be other videos in the future of various topics surrounding math. So I hope you stick around, and good luck with everything. May the math be with you. Professor Prime out.